I never thought betrayal could sound so casual until my wife looked me in the eye and said, "It just happened." Just happened. Like she tripped and fell into someone else's arms. Like a mistake could last months, grow a heartbeat, and start kicking inside her. That night, I sat on the edge of our bed staring at the ultrasound photo she had left on the nightstand. Tiny, blurry, and cruelly innocent. It wasn't the baby's fault. I knew that, but the thought that it wasn't mine hollowed me out from the inside. I met Laura 9 years ago. She worked in HR, and I was a maintenance supervisor at the same company. Funny how life loops back in ways you never expect. Because a man she cheated on me with worked in my department. A janitor named Carl. Carl was quiet, maybe 10 years older than me. Always polite, always stayed late. I never saw him as a threat. That's the irony. You spend your life watching the flashy strangers, not realizing the dangers be mopping your floors all along. It started with sympathy, she said. He'd been going through a divorce, drinking too much, talking to her about how lonely he was. "You're such a good listener," he told her once. Apparently, that line was all it took. When she confessed, I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just sat there, numb, like my brain couldn't catch up with reality. She said she wanted to be honest before things went any further, but she was already 5 months pregnant. Her belly had started to show, and I had been too blind, or maybe too trusting, to see what it really meant. The first sign should have been the distance, the late-night walks, the sudden gym membership, the way she started showering twice a day, locking the bathroom door. When I asked her about it, she'd roll her eyes and say, "You're being paranoid, Dan. Not everything's about cheating." She was right, until it was. After the confession, she cried for hours. She said she didn't love him, that it was a mistake born out of weakness. But every tear that fell from her eyes felt like a lie she was still telling herself. I slept on the couch that night, and for weeks after. The house felt different, cold, like the walls themselves knew what she'd done. Her scent, once comforting, now made me sick. But then came the part that really broke me. She wanted me to stay. Not just stay, but to raise a child. She said, "It doesn't have to ruin us, Dan. You've always wanted a family. We can start fresh. You can love this baby as your own." I remember laughing. Not the kind of laugh that comes from humor, but the kind that escapes when your soul cracks under too much weight. I asked her if Carl even knew. She said no. He didn't want kids, and she didn't want him involved. "You're the stable one," she said. "You'd be a better father anyway." I stared at her for a long time, wondering if she even realized how cruel that sounded. Weeks turned into months. I didn't file for divorce immediately. Part of me wanted to see how far she'd go pretending everything was fine. She'd still pack me lunch, still kiss my cheek before bed, still talk about baby names like we were some normal couple expecting our first child. She'd place my hand on her stomach, smiling softly. "Feel that? His kicking." I'd pull my hand away. "Stop calling him," I said once. "Don't make this real." But it was real. Every kick, every doctor appointment reminder, every lullaby hum from the next room. It was a reminder of the life she'd built on top of my trust. The breaking point came one afternoon when I came home early from work. I walked in and saw her sitting on the couch, glowing, holding a small Odyssey she'd just bought. The logo on the bag said Daddy's Little Helper. She looked up and smiled. "Isn't it cute?" That's when something in me went cold. I realized she'd already decided for me. In her mind, I'd forgiven her. I was going to be daddy. But I wasn't. That night, I made a decision. I wasn't going to scream or beg or fight for a woman who'd already traded me for pity and convenience. I'd spent my life fixing broken things, machines, plumbing, even people. But this wasn't something I could fix. So I started gathering my things quietly. Old photos, clothes, my father's watch. I even left the engagement ring box on her pillow empty. The next morning, I didn't say goodbye. I drove to the office, handed in my resignation, and told HR everything, every detail about her and Carl. It wasn't revenge at first. I just wanted to leave clean. But when I saw Carl later that day, panic in his eyes as his phone started buzzing nonstop, I realized truth is its own kind of revenge. By the end of the week, everyone knew. Laura stopped coming to work. Carl was fired. She called me dozens of times, but I didn't answer. The last voicemail she left still echoes in my head sometimes. You didn't have to destroy my life, Dan. We could have made it work. The baby didn't deserve this. Maybe she's right. Maybe the baby didn't. But neither did I. It's been 8 months now. She gave birth a few weeks ago. I heard through a mutual friend that she named the boy Eli. A biblical name, meaning my God. I wonder if she even realizes the irony. Sometimes I drive by the park near our old house. I've seen her there once or twice, pushing a stroller, her face pale and tired. Carl's nowhere in the picture anymore. Part of me still aches when I see her, because despite everything, I once loved that woman more than I love myself. But love isn't enough when respect dies. The truth is, I'm not angry anymore. I'm just empty in a way I can't explain. People tell you heartbreak feels like fire. It doesn't. It's more like silence after an explosion. I'm rebuilding my life piece by piece. New apartment, new job, new routines. I even started taking night classes. Sometimes, when the loneliness hits, I remind myself that I didn't lose a family. I escaped a lie. And that, somehow, feels like a kind of peace. Still, some nights, when I can't sleep, I think about that ultrasound photo. I wonder if the child will ever know the truth, if he'll ever ask why the man in the picture frame isn't his real father. If he does, I hope she tells him the truth. Because lies, no matter how gently spoken, always find their way to the surface. And when they do, they destroy everything they touch.